it gets problematic once you go over 2 because the tool chain starts breaking, and maybe we need to find something better than that. So other things you can, of course, do when you scale the image on the fly. You can do additional manipulations. So you can do contrast and brightness enhancement. And for example, in this thing, you can see that there was some writing in there at that place, and which was later scraped out. And so this might be relevant for a historical source. And also some of the scholars said, well, mostly you cannot really see that in that detail with the original plans because you're maybe in some attic of some library and the light is not very good, and you are there and you have to somehow see what you can make of it because you just have limited time. And everybody's handling the plans, and they're starting to break and fade. And so there's really much advantages to doing this electronically. And like with the other features, I said that you can mark here the little number 1 on the image, and then there's a function so you can copy out the URL of that image and send it to a colleague in an email. So all the information containing the mark and the zoom state and the color state is contained in the URL. So you can send that to a colleague and say, well, look at this. Do you think that's appropriate, or whatever he was thinking about when he did that. And you can also put it just with a link or some distilled form in a database. So this really was a feature which was easy to implement on the client side, but which has great ramifications. So also I know very few other web image viewers that have this feature. And also for the scientists, it was immediately convincing. They said, yeah, that's what I always wanted to do, to just point out things and be able to communicate that, because usually you have the problems when you're talking with your colleague about some image, then you have to say, or if you're putting it in a paper, you have to say, well, on the upper left corner of this, there you see that thing, and then if you look closely, then, and so it's much easier with these functions. So I think I'm skipping over the text bit. At least I could briefly mention, if somebody else is interested in text processing, we also do lots of stuff with text. So do some OCR, so we're trying to use the Octopus and Tesseract stuff that Google has put out on modern printed texts. We do some retyping, mostly in China, of old texts in Latin and ancient Greek and now Chinese and other stuff, which then can be put in very nice formatting, so that you have the pages, sentences, glyphs at the side, tables and formula and stuff, and so then you can put it in full text search. And we also have, which is more relevant than to the nicely done text, morphological analysis, which helps, for example, with morphological search, you just put in the search term in its standard form, and then you find also all the reflected forms in the text, and that works, well, for us, of course, it's important that this works with historical text, Latin, ancient Greek, but also Italian, English, Arabic, Dutch, German, French. And you can also at that point, if you have the lemma, the analyzed form, you can very easily link that to dictionaries. So for us, the point was that a scholar who is maybe interested, if he has a Latin text of the 17th century about mechanics, but he is not so good in Latin, then we can give him this text where every word is underlined with a link, and if you click on the word, you get taken to a dictionary with an entry about this word. And so at least if you have critical phrases where you're maybe not so really sure about the wording, because that may be a technical term or not, and depending on the time and the author writing that, it may be technical or not. And so then you can always directly get referred to a dictionary and use that. And starting on that, you can also do, we have tools to do term lists where you can do things by hand, which you cannot do automatically with the morphological or other automatic analysis. And for example, identify, really say, well, at this point, when he uses this term, and at that point and that point, he talks about the same concept, which is real scholarly work and which is also of great value to other scholars. So we need to find some way of exchanging this. And also goes a little towards ontology business, although I, at the moment, try to keep as concrete in the ontology business as possible. So for us, a term list is already some kind of an ontology, and but we haven't got further into that because we really try to do tools that people can easily use and that are easily developed and maintained and also produce results. Because it's really the case that if you present the scholars who formally said, well, I don't know what I need in computer stuff. I'm fine with typing my text and reading my book. When you tell them, yeah, but look, you can zoom in the image, make an annotation, send that to somebody, maybe use a shared folder of images or something on the internet with your colleagues collaborating. And you can really show them, and it works. It really is a big help for the scholars. And once they've used it, they said, yeah, that's so great. Why haven't I used it before? But it really is both ways. So you need to be able to sell it to them, and they need to be able to know what they want to do and be able to do it with the technology. So that was my talk for now. Any questions?
Other people with a question who want to ask something, have a comment? Yes?
How long did the development of the tool take, and is it also available under an open license and things like that?
Hard to say. Well, the image server, it's easy to say because that's a single thing, and you can download it from Berlioz, and it's GPL licensed. I'm the lead developer. I put it there. It's free, and also the other stuff we are using for producing these websites are also, I think they're all based on open source. So for the web stuff we use Zope based on Python, and have written our own extensions to Zope, which are freely available also under GPL license in our Subversion repository. But as I said before, may not be so well polished and packaged that somebody who doesn't know a lot of Zope can just take it and use it and it looks the same. But we really try to get it that way.